everybody. How you guys all doing? Welcome to Monday. I mean Tuesday with Max. Just one Tuesday, so it's not plural. Just singular Tuesday. Anyway, it was fun watching DJ's live stream last night with all the YouTubers. Yeah, I wish I was there in a way, but definitely had a great time this weekend down in Nashville and visiting my son down in Huntsville. So yeah, I wouldn't trade that. Definitely had a lot of fun. So a little tired yesterday though, because we got home late on Sunday night, and yeah. But anyway, how are you guys all doing? Let me check out who is in the chat. Steven Cicero, Automatic Beats, Dakota Miner, S. Chang, Sadie Sometimes, Crypto Perks, Patrick Murphy, Scott Sheffield. Welcome, sir. I Triple Teaspoon. Good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Little Time Mining, All Track, Hugo Down. Yes, Dynex to the moon. I question that. But anyway, Bacon, Eggs, and Hash, Travelers Travels, Hilo Crypto, Chuck Danger, Toxic Miner, New England Crypto. Of course, the infamous Sunflower Mama is here to keep me in line. I think I said Travelers Travels. If I didn't, I'm saying them again. And let's burn. I'm scanning down. I think I've said pretty much everybody. Let's see who else may have. Who did? Galaxy 9 just showed up. Do I need to do a panda, a panda call? Anyway, alrighty. I think I got it. Oh, Tommy Coin. There's somebody I missed. Nerd Beast. Jake St. Peter. Oh, new person. Good to see you, sir. At least I haven't seen you here before. 4J. Anyway, welcome to everybody new. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. Definitely helps out the algorithm. I appreciate it. Still trying to make it to 4,000. Trying to make it to 4,000 before Hawk does. Anyway, we shall see if that happens. Neox is pumping now. Well, let's. Oh, did I miss him? I am so sorry, Retro Mike. Retro Mike, oh, of all people, I am so ashamed. Retro Mike, I am so sorry. Crypto Crag? I know, I saw him, but I thought I said his name. Maybe I didn't. Anyway. All right, well, thank you all, including Retro Mike, for being here. Do not even. It's having. And if you're gonna say having, you gotta say it like the if you ever seen Princess Bride, when they go Humperdinck, you gotta say having. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, Hugo Don coming in with the super chat. Thank you very much. By the way, this is actually our official anniversary, July 25th. So it is officially 31 years today. We just celebrated it last weekend because of an event. So it's definitely a good time. But thank you, Hugo Down. Yes, you should congratulate her for putting up with me for 31 years. So there you go. Anyway, Amplifier Gaming, it is going well, although it is hot. I work in a warehouse. Well, I actually work in two warehouses because we have two warehouses that we manage that are right next to each other. One is 355,000 square feet. The other one is about 70,000, but has racks. The one that has a lot of square footage in it is all stacked, three pallets high, all stacked on top of each other, no racks. And the other one's got racks. Well, the one that has racks is a straight metal shed. I mean, it's just metal walls. So it gets really cold in the winter and it gets really hot in the summer. It's just like the sun just bakes on it and it just heats it up. It's like a hot box. So yeah, I've been spending a lot more time, and I'll be spending a lot more time in there over the next few days, which I'm not looking forward to, but it's the job. It's the job. So at any rate, well, thank you all, Chuck. Appreciate the additional 1 sub. Every little bit helps. If I get, like I said, I'm at 3906. So I need 94. That's all. Just 94 to get to 4,000. That would be a really cool thing to get to. Is Brian Hollywood here? I did not see him here, but could have just missed him. But anyway, if Brian Hollywood is here, hello, sir. All right. We were just talking about Noctua pumping. Let me share my screen first, since I didn't have a chance. There we go. Share screen, entire screen, and we're going to take that one. Share. And let's go to cap and go to Noctua. It's doing better. Certainly doing better than it was. That's for sure. Was at 0.0094. I mean, obviously it was way down here, but let's just say it was at, you know, right around a little bit less than point, like 0.99 is where this peak was. And now we're at 0.00011. So yeah, we're up 10, 15% from that. Obviously, from where we were before, it's obviously a little bit more, but hey, doesn't suck. That's for sure. That's for sure. Let's see where Dynex is, because I know that it hit over 80 cents. And I think it's had a pullback. In fact, I know it's had a pullback. Did he say because we're old? I said because we're old, and he said 100%. Oh, okay. Anyway, he always gives 99 cents. But thank you very much for the 99-cent super chat, sir. Oh, and their Noctua's doing their masternode deployment shortly. Interesting. Good to know. But yeah, Dynex is now down like about 63 cents. But still, yes, it was up way up here just less than 24 hours ago. But let's take a 1 month. That's still a nice jump. I mean, even if we look at like the tallest peak in the last month, other than the latest going up, you're talking about around 40 cents and you're at 63 cents. So that's still a nice 50% gain if you're holding, which I'm not. I am absolutely selling everything that I mine for Dynex and Radiant. Although right now I do have, oh, I didn't share the screen. I actually shared it, but didn't add it. So I apologize for that. There we go. What is up 31%? Zeph. What the heck is Zeph? Z-E-P-H? Well, anyway, this one's up 63 cents right now. Up from, you know, even if you go over here, you're about 40 cents. So yeah, a nice gain over the last month. No question. Yes, it would have been nice. And actually on Trade Ogre, it actually peaked out over 80 cents on that trading platform. So anyway, so ZEPH, Zeph. It's not even tracked here. Not even tracked. No, it's not. It did come up, but it's just not, the live price data is not tracked. So got wrecked, peeps. Yeah, when I see this, I go, nope. This is like the pink sheets of crypto, when you can't liquidate. Now, could you get in and have huge gains? Sure. Or not make anything. So yeah, it's obviously the highest, riskiest mining strategy, but it can pay off. Obviously, it can pay off. I mean, if you look at people that started mining Caspa last year and held everything, yeah, they're doing pretty well. Same thing with Dynex. If you held, you're doing pretty darn well. So yeah, anyway, but that's pretty much all I had for Dynex. This probably won't be too long tonight, but we'll see. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which I'm not really sure why, but for some reason, I can't get into the FCC broadband map anymore. It's like oh, now it's back. Okay. So I went into this, and I'm not going to type in my address because that'll dox myself, but I had found this and was looking to see, okay, how close is 200 megabits per second to my house? Is it starting to be deployed or what? And what I found out, I'm like, let's just start out, I don't know, about a mile west of us. And I clicked on a random house and I went, oh crap, it's there. And I kept moving closer and closer and closer to my house. I'm like, wait a minute, it's like right here. And I click on the house literally across the street from me, and it has 200 megabits per second. But I click on my house and all the houses on my side of the street. Nope, none of us have it. So evidently, there's only a few select nodes in the town I'm in that actually have 200 megabits per second. Like I said, the good news is it's very, very close. So, of course, I'm not just going to sit by and watch 200 megabits be that close to me and not let Comcast hear about it. It was quite the interesting day of trying to get somebody on the phone. And so I finally got through to somebody because it is quite the trick to actually talk to somebody. And I wasn't really that nice to that person because he was an idiot. And so then I couldn't get a hold of anybody. So they obviously put me on the not so nice, put me on the naughty list basically. And so anyway, it took about another over half an hour until I finally got a hold of somebody. This person wasn't super knowledgeable, but they were willing to look at what I was talking about. And they verified, yep, the guy across the street, if he had 1.2 gig service down, he would have 200 megabits per second. I can see that. I know what you're talking about. And yes, I was able to verify you're just on a different node. But no, I can't tell you when that node is actually going to get 200 megabits per second. Like nobody you can talk to. He's like, I'm sorry, this isn't even my area. I'm in TV. I've gone as far as I can. And in that point, I'm like, there's no reason to try to ask for a manager because it's a manager of the TV area, not the internet area. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to cut my losses, be super nice to this guy, overly nice to this guy, so that hopefully make sure I'm off the naughty list. So anyway, so I'm like, but I wasn't just going to leave it there. So then I decided to go to Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days. So I went to basically there's a Comcast Illinois and there's a Comcast support. Comcast support is the one, or Xfinity support, one of the two responded and said, hey, send us a direct message and we'll see what we can do. So then I send the direct message and they're like, yeah, you don't have access to that service yet. I'm kind of like, no, really? I had no idea. That wasn't my question. My question was when the guy across the street has it. And so then we go back and forth on this conversation, which was honestly somewhat comical until they finally said, oh, you could get it if you had the XB8 modem or the XB8 gateway instead of the XB7. Well, I know both of those gateways and they are very, very similar. Yes, the XB8 has a little bit more bandwidth, uh, but not having anything to do with, difference between 35 and 200 megabits per second upload. That has nothing to do with it. They're both capable of this like mid-level, I don't know, whatever. There's a technology that's required in order to get the additional upload speed. And they both have that technology. That's what enables it. So I know for a fact that's not true. But I'm willing to humor him because whoever that was said, yep, you should be able to get that service. All I got to do is send you an XB8 gateway. So guess what? I'm getting an XB8 gateway tomorrow, which I will use none of the features for because I'm going to put it in bridge mode. One of the nice things about that particular gateway is it does have Wi-Fi 6E. So it does have the 6 gigahertz frequency on it. But like I said, it has a little bit better overall bandwidth. It can get greater speeds overall, but nothing that's going to have anything to do with that additional, and not anything I'm having to do because I'm not going over going up to 2 gig. There is actually a 2 gig service, 200 down and 2 gigabit down and 200 megabits per second up. You do get that increase when they upgrade the nodes as well. But I'm not going to upgrade to that. There's really no reason. 1.2 is more than I really need anyway. But for $50 a month, I'll take it. So anyway, so we'll see. So I'm getting that XB8 tomorrow. I'm going to install it tomorrow. And then I'm going to go back to Comcast DM saying, you said, and it didn't do anything. And then they're probably going to be like, oh, I don't know what the heck that guy was thinking, that you got incorrect information. And I'm like, well, that may be, but then why did you just waste all my time? I got a better idea. Why don't you just turn on the node? Because they've been doing all kinds of upgrades in our area. I just think that they're probably being careful in how many they turn on at a time, would be my guess. But anyway, we'll see. Can hope. Maybe the guy was right. Believe me, if I find out that when I put that thing on that I all of a sudden get 200 megabits per second up, I'll be extremely happy. But the good news is it's really close. Now, does that mean it's going to be next week, next month, 3 months, 6 months? Who knows? Because maybe they'll decide not to go my direction and go the opposite direction, and expand the opposite direction to where I am. But I would think at the very least that they would finish up a subdivision, because right now the line for the service splits the subdivision in half. The southwest side of the subdivision has the increase in speed, while the northeast and east does not. So I'd say probably about 65, about 2/3 of the subdivision has the increase in speed, and a third doesn't. So anyway, that took up a considerable portion of one of my weekend days, but glad I was able to figure it out, and glad that glad that it's close. What was that? Yeah, I was glad that Sunflower Mama didn't get like super frustrated with me as I was huffing and puffing and getting frustrated. So anyway, all right, let's see. Steven Cicero said that might be an engineering issue. Need Comcast to take a ticket out and have it checked. Happens with Verizon too. It is not. I do know that the people across the street are on a different node. So nobody on my side of the street has it. I've checked. If you actually go on Comcast website or go on the FCC website, you can see if you say, oh, I'm moving into this house across the street, I want new service. You can put in any address you want and find out what service that particular address has. So I did that actually on the Comcast website and found out that, yes, across the street, all the houses across the street all have access to that better service, while we do not. And again, our node is behind us and across the street. It handles the rest of our neighborhood and the entire neighborhood next to us. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. Let's see. Ursa Prime says, have you seen the tweets from Dak Flux? Looks like he's trying to set up a proof of useful work debate with Dynex. I haven't seen the tweets. I've seen some of the comments he's made within the Flux Discord. Yeah, I don't know. Why can't we all just get along? Why do we need to set up a debate? There's really no reason. Just prove yourself and be done with it. It's not about them. It's about you. It's about Flux. It's about what you guys can do. I don't know. I don't see that coming to a good end. Whoever the aggressor is who wants the debate is, to me, the one that doesn't come out on top. They just look like the bully. So I don't know. I kind of just let that kind of yammering go by, in my opinion. But that's just me. Let's see if I missed any other. Oh, and Solar Miner in Spain. Good to see you, sir. My weekend was wonderful. Safe, uh, decent driving. We actually left a little bit late on Thursday night, and it was actually a good thing because we rode behind the storms. So like they were kind of coming across the road ahead of us. And by the time we got to the tail end of the storm, it had passed, and we just had a little bit of wet road for a little bit, but nothing, nothing really bad or anything. So if we had left earlier, we would have been riding through storms most likely. So thank you for asking. Let's see if there were any other comments I missed. No, I think I caught all those. All righty. Steven Cicero, after King's video with Dan, I'm done with mining Flux. A CEO shouldn't be talking the way he did. You know, it's not atypical of a CEO or a business owner. Business owners typically have a certain way, and they're used to being able to tell people what to do. And that, you know, again, you get used to with things a certain way. And again, and also very passionate about what they're doing. So I can tell you, there have definitely been some situations outside of crypto where I've seen the same type of thing. I'll give you a great example. Wheel builders. There's a great rivalry in wheel builders within cycling, and especially the small independent ones. Everybody thinks that they've, you know, built the better mousetrap, and some, and these are the ones that I usually like, just basically say, come ride my wheels and see what you think. Don't like them, go ride somebody else's wheels. But I think I got a pretty good product. And then there are those that are like, well, I've tried that other guy's wheels and they stink, and here's why, and what, but don't talk about their own product. That's my point. Talk about your own product. You get a lot further in my mind if you talk about your own product as opposed to talking about somebody else's product that is really irrelevant to your success. And especially when you're in the same industry, the community, um your customers don't want to hear it. They don't want to deal with a company that is constantly down talking another company and isn't talking about their own products. So I learned in sales a long time ago is you talk about your own product. You don't down talk somebody else's product. You expound the benefits of your product and what distinguishes your product from something else on the market. If you think your product's better, then say, hey, look, here's my product, here's their product, try them both and tell me what you think. One thing, you might have some really great feedback for your engineers or your product developers that you may not have known before and some things you could do, or you're going to basically prove to customers that, yep, it is a better product. So I don't know. I like to focus inwards, not outwards on competition. And in this case, I think competition makes everything stronger. And what I've heard in a lot of industries, and honestly, crypto included, rising tides raises all boats. And that's especially true in crypto. So if you're trying to tear down another project or say why you are better than somebody else, you're not really allowing the tide to raise that boat, which is going to hold your boat down as well. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Flux, I think, is doing a lot of great things. Just because I disagree with some of the things that are being said doesn't mean that I think any less of the project. I think they're doing some great things. If I was running it, or as Sunflower Mama says, if I was emperor, I would certainly not be doing it that way. But again, in my opinion, yeah, again, I wouldn't be doing it that way. But that's me. Dan's going to be Dan. And we all know Dan is Dan. He's very passionate and very much believes in his product, and anything that hurts his baby, he's going to lash out. That's generally what we've seen. So, you don't like it, then don't be part of Flux. If you don't mind it or doesn't matter to you, or you do like it, then you're going to be part of Flux. So anyway, that's when I say it's my 2 cents. That's like my 5 minutes monologue on it. Anyway, it's chump change. Here's the thing. Chump change comes in, says, you got to live stream. You got to live stream. How long did it take him to get in here? Jeez. Hey, Chump Change, how you doing? Glad you're here. Thanks. Anyway, Jeff Key's here. Good to see you, sir. Anyway, I don't know where. Let's see. What did Hash4 say? Yeah, I mean, no project is for everybody. Anyway, here's my problem. And this is the thing. This is really the thing is a lot of people have started to lash out at Flux, and I get it and I don't get it. It tells you that they're doing something right. When you're irrelevant, nobody lashes out against you. Nobody, and again, this is bear market stuff. Everybody's kind of at each other a little bit more in a bear market. So, except when we have something working. So the fact that people are lashing out at them for some of the things that they're doing tells you that people care and are interested in the project. And honestly, any PR, whether it be good or bad PR, is good PR. It gets your name out there. That's been proven time and time and time again. So anyway, all right, enough about that. But good to see you, Jeff Key. Appreciate you being here, even though I know you're super busy at Mining Disrupt. And Mind Something, sorry, is here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. And Pearl Rival and Red Hawk. All righty. Any other questions? I do have one more thing to talk about. But Retro Mike, y'all are dead to me. Anyway, I feel like I should have put up another poll because everybody's been talking about having or happening, but I'll do that on a future when we get closer to the actual event. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. A diplomat. I don't know if I'd call myself a diplomat, but I always try to put myself in somebody else's shoes and try to see their point of view. And just because they come off a certain way, you have to think about why. Like, what was it? What was going on? What was? And I honestly, I wasn't always this way. I read a book, 7 Habits of Effective People, and one of the things that really struck a chord with me was, and it actually stopped me from having so much road rage, was, well, what's going on in that person's life for them to do something like that? So, for example, you get cut off by somebody going down this road and they're like flying and that they're racing ahead. Well, maybe there's a woman in the car about ready to have a baby. Maybe somebody's hurt. Maybe their loved one is on their deathbed and they're trying to get, you just don't know what their situation is. So don't be so quick to judge. That was one of the lessons, was don't be so quick to judge. Everybody has certain mindsets, and the other part of it is that some people don't think like that either. They won't be willing to put themselves in your shoes. And that's something, like I said, that's something to know as well. Anyway, alrighty. Enough about my life philosophies. All right. So Joker Miner. So about Helium. I don't know. I'm still making some. I'm making IoT, and I am cashing it out whenever I get a certain amount, and turning it into Solana. That's my strategy with my Helium hotspots right now. I also have them on Crank as well, so they're both doing Crank and Helium / IoT. So that's what's going on with that. K-Spec says, just want tax and financial advice, Max Voltage. That's all. LOL. Well, I've done the tax thing. It's beyond tax time. Anyway, back to the grind I go. Well, thank you. Appreciate that, Jeffy. Oh, and thank you for the super chat. Very much. Appreciate that. Neckmerbeck said best strategy right now. Yeah, I definitely think so. I'm holding on to my H&T. I haven't cashed it out. It is nice that it finally got up to what, 1 cent, 2 cents, something like that. I mean, it went up. So I haven't looked at it recently. Anyway, I'm just kind of waiting for it to maybe get back up to 10 cents so I can cash out, but we'll see. We'll see what it does during the bull run. And you got to onboard them to Things IX2. Mappers coming to the US in the next month or so. Yes, that is my plan. I actually got my third Helium hotspot back from my sister-in-law who had it in Florida. So it's sitting on my shelf back there. So I do need to get that location for that, as well as get that on crank as well. So got to figure that out in the next, I don't know, month or so. Alrighty, I will keep an eye on your booth tomorrow. I'm definitely looking forward to it because obviously you're going to have some proof of useful work demos and benchmarks and things like that. So I did catch the 9-minute stream, something like that, a very, very short stream. I caught the replay. So I did. I thought it was pretty funny. You guys were asking Alex all these questions and he wouldn't respond. Although the camera, like, I should say the phone coverage, the phone signal obviously was glitching out at that point. So it is what it is. Alrighty. All right. Let me go over the last thing I want to talk about, which was my Mikrotik and my Flux nodes. So kind of interesting. Well, first of all, right now, my Flux nodes have been pretty darn stable. I did have a problem with both of my Raspberry Pi nodes, and I've just come to realize that the Raspberry Pi nodes are going to be the ones that go down. It has nothing to do with routing. It has nothing to do with UPnP. It just has to do with the platform that they're on. So I did actually get them back up and running prior to them actually, within the maintenance window. So I was good there, but it had nothing to do with the Mikrotik. But what did have to do with the Mikrotik was when I rolled out the Mikrotik and got it installed, I created an ARP table. And in order to try to reserve the IP addresses, which works for some devices, doesn't work for others. Because if your Flux node is still set up as dynamic, well, your IP address is assigned by DHCP, DHCP. So your DHCP server within the Mikrotik is what is assigning the IP addresses. So just because I have a reservation in the ARP table isn't going to keep DHCP from changing the IP address from time to time. So that was what was happening. So once I figured that out and I had a few outages with a few of the nodes, I then set the reservation within the DHCP server, and then it's been good ever since. Other than, like I said, this afternoon I had 2 of my Raspberry Pis go down. So, but anyway, so I'm very, very happy with the Mikrotik and very curious. Mining King actually had mentioned to me about WireGuard and being able to remote in via WireGuard. So I definitely want to do that. I also want to set up some containers. I have a formatted flash drive that I can put containers on. So I'm looking to either do AdGuard or Pi-hole on there, as well as a network monitoring tool, which I don't remember what it is. But anyway, I'm really curious about what it's going to take to deploy that and what I can do with it. So looking forward to doing that. I used to have a drive set up as like a file server, like a 5 gig drive that would be connected into the router. But I stopped doing that because unfortunately this drive is not compatible with the Mikrotik. It has to be a EXT4, I think, format. So oh, pile. It's PI-HOLE, not that kind of pie hole. Anyway, good night, Chomp. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to just experimenting with it. So looking forward to that. I really like it, and it has been rock solid so far. Yeah, there's a couple other things that I should do as well. So right now, I have a 5-port switch that is underneath my wife's desk, and I have an 8-port switch that is sitting underneath the router because I don't have enough ports in there. Well, I really don't need the 8-port switch up there, but it would be kind of nice to have the 8-port switch down here. So I might swap those out in order to, yeah, just make better use of them. So anyway, anybody drunk yet? Anybody playing the drinking game tonight? I don't think I said that word very often, or at least not as often as I usually do. So yeah, it will be relatively short because I'm going to call it a night very shortly. So it'll be a short little 45-minute live stream instead of my normal hour. Any other things going on today? Anybody wants to talk about? Network Bit says you still need to assign the DHCP address. Well, yeah, when you reserve it, you've assigned it. I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't need to necessarily set it static, but yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because I set it in the ARP table, I still need to reserve it. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. But hey, you know what? That's sometimes the best way. I won't forget it now. I realize what I did wrong. So yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure as I was just cringed about the way that Hawk was and Panda were putting computers together, I'm sure Network Bits is just as cringed about the way I'm putting my home network together. Am I wrong, Network Bits? Uh, anyway, if he's still here, because I was reading up in the chat. Kylo, oh, that's right. I did see that Kylo coin was pumping. Let me see here. Kyla. If I spell it right. Kyla coin. Oh yeah, wow, it's really pumping right now. Here, let me go back and add the screen in. Yeah, that's really pumping. It's up 62%, but I mean it is like straight up, like it is in the process of pumping right now. So between, I don't know, an hour ago, not even an hour ago, it was at 395 and it's at 457, and no end in sight is what it looks like at this point. So wow, nice. Joker Miner says, I'm running a new node on my PC called Switch. Interesting project. We should probably talk. I'd be curious about it. I love nodes. What can I say? Traveler's Travel says, am I doing any solo mining? Other than solo mining on my little USB miner for Dash, no, I am not doing any solo mining other than that. Tane says, Max, what's your mining equipment? You missed it earlier. I shook the bee's nest earlier in the Flux Discord. LOL. Oh, well, I'll have to go back and review it. Which channel? Let me know which channel it was on. I'm assuming it's probably general. Poke the bear named Dan. Yeah, he's easy to get riled up. Anyway, he just needs to calm down. Namaste. So Network Bit says, you don't make me cringe nearly as much as the system admins and developers who try to network. Fair enough. At least I learn. Anyway, now you have to update your software regularly and check security bug advisories regularly. Be sure to disable management slash ping from your WAN interface. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that I also still need to do. I need to make sure that all of the things I want in the firewall are there. Um, have the SSH port turned off, remapped, all that kind of stuff. So yes. Um, yeah, Tains. Yeah, it's pretty much like Dynex is like the trigger word over there. You say that word, and I just, yeah, smoke a joint, right? Oh, what do you, Dakota Miners announcing when to drink every time I say the word? Okay, got it. Fair enough. Um, so network bits, actually, I did, when I rolled it out, I did update the software and the firmware. And I did learn like they're in two different spots. So the even Network Berg, who's a like as close to an expert as you can find on the internet for Mikrotik, also didn't have the firmware updated when he updated the router OS software, and it caused issues. Once he made sure they were the both the same release, everything worked fine. So I learned that when he basically had a review of the router that I bought, which was the HAP AX cubed. So yeah, that was kind of nice of him to like say, yeah, oops, some of us also make mistakes. We're not all, free from error. Network bits created a separate VLAN for your mining rigs and nodes. Disable management on the interface slash gateway IP of that VLAN. I had actually seriously thought about that. That was segmented away from all of my regular computers and such. So, and let's talk. Pretty much, I could very easily do that. The right now, that computer behind me is a node, but that goes straight into the router, so I could put that on the VLAN, and then the other switch in the basement, which has two other nodes on it, so that'd be six. Also, are going through a switch that has a direct port into the router as well. The only thing is, I'd probably want to put my two Raspberry Pis downstairs if I was going to do that, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing because I've got a what do you call it? A switched PDU, so I have the ability to remote into my PDU to switch ports on and off. I also have the ability to do it here as well, but I'm using it through, like one of those remote control plugs, which again, because of how low power these are, not a big deal. It's not like running a mining rig through one of those and using it that way. So, alrighty. Let's see what other comments we got. Travelers Travels, what kind of Dash USB miner do you have? Never knew they ever made one. So it is a Bitcoin miner, but that Gecko Science Bitcoin miner that you see, the Mars Lander and Compact F is what I have. And that you can set up because Dynex does have SHA-256, the same thing as Bitcoin. So you can mine it with the same miner. So I would think most ASICs have the ability to mine more than just Bitcoin if you want. So mine something says, have you had any issues with the dash cam this week? There was an update to the firmware last week and seems to be causing some headaches. Honestly, over the past week or over the past month, I've had issues anyway. So not sure specifically what you're referring to, but yeah, there were some issues that I was having with the upload actually going through, and now it seems to be okay. I found that with the Hive Mapper, if you toggle between cellular and not cellular, it kind of triggers something and it will start to upload. I did see in the Hive Mapper Discord that one of the tricks that they were suggesting was if you're uploading via Wi-Fi, was to hook up to Wi-Fi and then put cellular upload, turn it on, but then turn your radio off. So basically put it into not airplane mode, because airplane mode turns off everything, but turn off your cellular radio. You do have the ability to do that on most phones. And that way it will only be Wi-Fi, but yet you're tricking Hivemapper into uploading it via cellular instead of having to wait for Wi-Fi, because some people weren't able to upload via Wi-Fi. So, all right. Mine something said loss of GPS and disconnects if the app isn't in the foreground. Yeah, I mean, I get, you're talking about disconnects from the app. Yeah, if it is in the foreground, I shouldn't say most, a lot of Android phones are going to, after you've been out of the app for a certain period of time, they're going to close out the app. There is a setting in there that I believe you can set that will give it a higher priority, so it'll be less likely to do it. But for me, I'm not really all that worried about it. I'll go into it, let it catch up, then go out of it. So I did a ton of driving this weekend. And one day I had like 60, 70,000 pictures. The other day I had 90,000, almost 100,000, but just a little over 90,000 pictures. So I every so often, to make sure it didn't like run out of room on the camera, I would turn it on, let it upload via cellular, let it catch up, and then it would be fine. So that's what I've been doing. But yeah, like when I came in the house tonight, my phone was on Hivemapper, but then it times out and such. And so I bet I still probably have, maybe it did catch up. Let's see. I had like, I think 6,000. Oh, it was all but 15. Well, I did kind of do a video on it, but yeah, I could do that. I mean, because that USB miner can mine more than just Bitcoin. So, and I did hit a block. I hit a block with my Bitcoin miner. Only one so far, though. It was worth $3.28 or something. It wasn't worth a whole heck of a lot. Network Mix says, all right, I got to run. Video time. Good stream. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I will be getting out of here very shortly as well. Let's see. Anyone use a USB to LAN on a phone? I have not used one. I've heard of that, but I have not actually used that. Pretty much since the advent of Wi-Fi and fast Wi-Fi, that isn't used really a lot, and I think a lot of phone manufacturers don't push it or even test it much. Techman says, imagine a USB to LAN adapter off a PoE splitter, run phone off PoE switch, and do data on the LAN port. I will try this. Alrighty. Overboard Tech. Oh, Overboard Tech. Good to see you, sir. So firmware isn't any less junk than it. Oh, you're talking about the Hivemapper. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna do some CMP 30HX testing tonight. Nice. Alrighty. Well, I am gonna sign off since I really only meant to go until 9:30, and of course I went a little bit longer, but I do appreciate everybody being here. I will be back on Monday nights next week. I don't think there's any conferences that everybody's going to next week, so I'll be back on Monday next week. So again, thanks again. I appreciate everybody for being here, and this is the General signing out.